Hi,
Hi.
welcome everybody. This is Juliet Seskind.
Hello.
I'm with Ayre teacher Juliet Seskind today, and we're doing an alchemy interview series. And today's interview series is going to be a little bit about talking about some of the messages we tell ourselves and how they can really hinder us or limit us. So welcome.
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad you're here today.
Thank you.
So to start, Juliet, I'm wondering if you can just tell me a little bit about Ayre and where it developed and how and what it is as a form of
Sure.
dance.
So I began teaching Nia, I think probably about 15 years ago, and I loved it. And I actually trained with Caroline Reidig, who I love.
Oh, I love Caroline.
So I feel like I had a really great experience with her, and taught Nia for a short time. Back 15 years ago, you couldn't it wasn't as easy to maybe teach your own thing. You kind of needed something like that
To be under, like an umbrella.
Yeah, so which was great for me for that time. I have a background in dance, mainly ballet, and I found that I loved Nia, but I really kind of didn't like doing other people's routines. I really wanted to do my own. I love choreographing. I love that, and I enjoy the process of creating movement.
Yeah.
And I love music. So I, even though I did teach Nia for a long time, I kind of did my own thing.
Yeah.
And it was a little, not quite representative of that. It was more my own thing. So finally, I don't know why it took me so long, but finally I decided to just call it what it is, or what it kind of more was, which was my own kind of dance movement.
Which is Ayre.
Which is Ayre. And the name Ayre comes from, well, my son actually helped me come up with it. I was wanting to kind of honor part of my heritage. My mom is from Scotland and grew up there, and I have a big family in Scotland. And they're all from this area called Ayrshire. And then my son said, how about Ayre? And I thought, oh, that's great. I love that. And actually, sometimes I think, oh, I should have done that. But I found this Ayre, A-Y-R-E, is a Scottish word, and it also has meaning of music in it, if you look it up. And it also is kind of about the area where my family's from.
Yep.
So that's why.
Oh, there's a lot of history in it.
Music and heritage is
and
kind of what the name
That's great.
is
I had no
about.
idea. And I've taken your class. I'm a huge fan.
Oh,
I love it.
thank
I
you.
think that the movement is really accessible.
Oh, thanks.
And it's really, you just hold really great space for
Thank
the
you.
community here. So if anybody out there wants to join Juliet in Ayre, she teaches here at Alchemy of Movement Tuesdays, 10:30 a.m.
Yes.
And you have your own community of people that for a long time have been coming to your class, but also if you have an Alchemy punch card, you're always welcome to hop in and just sign in on the iPad and join her class.
Yes.
She's
I
open
love
to that.
I love new airheads.
New airheads. So we are just talking a little bit about today. You're talking a little bit about this idea that the thoughts that we have and the messages we tell ourselves, how they limit or expand our dance or our body or our being.
Exactly.
Could you say a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, I've had experience with that as a teacher, and I know how it affects me as a teacher. And I find that if I'm listening to the voices outside of myself that are like judging how I'm teaching, or trying to, maybe think about, you should be representing this, or you should be explaining more, or you should, the more I do that,
The
more I start
pervasive
hearing,
shoulds that we all can hear
it's
sometimes.
really like, it just, I find that I can't be a good teacher when I'm doing that. And so what I try to just do is get into my own connection with the music. And I find that that's the most powerful and accessible thing for people. It's contagious, and it's, I don't need to talk really. Sometimes I sing, those of you who know me, and I don't sing well, but I can't help myself. But if you just tap into, really, you're just in it.
Yeah.
And the deeper you get into it, the easier it is for other people to follow.
And so it's some piece around, and would you say that's true also for the dancers out there that are tuning in today? Because I know as a dancer, I can get so caught up. I mean, and it's easy to go there.
So easy.
Not always, but definitely there's phases where, especially when I first started dancing at Alchemy, my mind would just these criticism and these.
Yeah.
So would you say it's also applicable to clients that come to your
class?
Yeah,
well, I find it's very applicable, and I also find that there's a lot of people that come with a lot of preconceived ideas about what they can and can't do. And I can see that they really, and I know what it feels like. I mean, even though I'm a dancer and I've been a dancer a long time, I know what it feels like to be insecure about your movement.
And so what are the can and can't do's? Like some of just the examples of things that
like
people
shimmy.
say. I can't shimmy.
Can't shimmy.
I can't dance.
Yeah.
I heard that. I can't dance.
I can't dance. I can't shimmy.
I can't follow.
Yeah. And I think that's, your body has a natural, memory and a natural rhythm that it can access, and the mind, I think, has a huge part, plays a huge part in that. So if you tell yourself that you can't shimmy, you're gonna create a big obstacle.
Yeah.
So I tell people, shimmy small.
Yeah.
Shimmy just a little, and the next time a little more. And tell yourself that you can do that.
So you're just kind of starting, one way to work with it is to just start like a baby.
Yeah.
A baby shimmy, like a little shimmy.
Yes,
and then one day you're going to be opening
exactly.
up. What do you have any, I mean, it sounds like one piece of this is connecting deeply to the music. I'm wondering if you have any other suggestions of working with the intensity of the thoughts themselves.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if you do any practices or you have any suggestions.
One thing I like to remind myself about is just, really, I'm doing this for myself. People don't really care.
Yeah.
Like they might care a little, they might judge me a little, I'm sure they do. But really, I don't think that they're wasting their time on my movement later in the day thinking, she didn't quite get that one step. I mean, it's not haunting them all night.
I always say that like the secret about it all is that no one's actually watching you.
They're
really all watching themselves. Everybody's like paying attention to their own stuff. Yeah. And I think a lot of people come in and they're like, I can't because everyone will watch me, or everyone's going to be looking at me, everyone's going to be judging me. There's this deep insecurity in that way.
With dance, I tell myself that it's really for myself. I'm doing this for myself. It makes me really happy. And if I want to sing, even though I have a terrible voice, that makes me happy. And if I want to be cheesy, and that might make me happy. And I really don't care. I try not to care because really, when it gets down to it, it's for yourself. You're the one who's living with yourself.
Right.
And so I find that for dance and for a lot of other things. People really don't care that much.
Yeah. so that helps. So like the reminder of like, this isn't about anyone else but me and my happiness.
Yeah. So I just find, for me, getting into the zone, which is hard to describe sometimes, but it's often just shutting the thoughts out and maybe bringing yourself to a breath is one thing. Sometimes people find it easy to access the feeling in their feet or whatever it is. Sometimes that helps you distract.
Yeah. But there's also another piece, it sounds like, is that it's actually, there's some piece around the positive messages. So there's a way that the negative messages can influence us. But also some of these things, if you started as a practice of being like, wow, look at the way this moves, or even maybe feeling like, oh, this feels so good. That those messages also can support. Can you say a little bit more about the positive messages?
I think it's also kind of a permission thing sometimes. It's okay to have fun.
Yeah.
and I'm getting older, and sometimes my insecurities come around. Can an older person really still dance like this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a grandma, and but really,
you don't look like a grandma.
So you just, you let that stuff go, and I think you allow yourself, like I said before, I feel like I'm being really repetitive, but do it for yourself. If it brings you joy and you love it, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You just go there.
Yeah.
And I really think that's the most giving that to yourself is a gift to other people, because I think people can see that.
They can feel it.
They can feel it. They can feel when you're in the zone of your thing. You're, like some tribal people sometimes say they get into their spirit dance, and they really do go somewhere else. And I feel like dancers really do experience that as well. They're in the music, they're in the rhythm, and it's not so, when you're in the rhythm, you're not thinking about how to not be distracted from that.
Right.
You're in it, and then it's taking over. It takes over you.
Yeah.
but you have to allow it, or you kind of need to give yourself permission to go there.
And it's almost, in some of those moments, it's like there's nothing else that exists.
Exactly.
In a way, that's
Yeah.
how I experience
Yeah.
it. Is I'm like, the rhythm is moving me.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's weird. I don't even feel like I have a human body in
Yeah.
a way or something.
Yeah.
It's like there's just this.
It's
There's
true.
just this like spirit moving
Right.
through space or something.
And I do tell people, don't count. Try not to count. You know,
Yeah.
like I try not to count as a teacher. Sometimes I get messed up, but the rhythm, you know, the natural nuances in the music and the sound is what tells me what to do next. Not 4, 3, you know, 2
Yeah.
more. You know, if I get into thinking about counting, then I'm out of my natural rhythm. So I tell people, I'll do it for you. I'll clap. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
At first, and so don't bother trying to count.
Yeah. So, Juliet, I just want to say thank you so much for coming today and sharing your dance knowledge with us.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah. And if anybody out there wants to join Juliet, you can join her in class Tuesdays at 10:30 and experience some of this amazing freedom through movement and connection to the
Yeah.
music. So, thanks again.
Thank you.